Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a fascinating set of sources for you today.
Oh, yeah. What are we diving into?
It's excerpts from a personal account, an astronaut detailing Christmas and New Year's Eve on the International Space Station.
Wow. Okay. Holidays in space. That's definitely a different perspective.
Exactly. Think about it. These holidays we all know, but, seen from hundreds of miles up.
It really does offer a unique viewpoint.
Hmm.
Not just the practical side of long space missions, but also something really human.
Like what?
Well, our need for connection, for celebration, even when the circumstances are just completely out there. Extraordinary, really.
Right. So our mission here is to explore these bits of the story and sort of understand the less visible side of living in space.
The personal side. The demands it puts on people, their families back home.
And ultimately how people adapt, find strength. It's pretty inspiring stuff, actually.
Sounds fascinating. Where do we start?
Okay, let's get into Christmas Eve in orbit. The account kicks off mentioning it's his third Christmas up there.
Third one, which he notes isn't exactly something you aim for, being away from family again.
No. And the feeling right away is less than festive. Why so downbeat initially?
Well, a few things were going on. He talks about a really intense couple of weeks just before.
Ah, right, the handover.
Yeah, one crew leaving, another arriving, all the adjustments that come with that, plus an emergency spacewalk thrown in.
Oh, wow. So just nonstop.
Pretty much. Nearly 2 solid weeks of work, no days off. So, by the time Christmas Eve rolls around, he's just wiped out. Understandably.
And it's not like Christmas Eve was a break either, was it? Something broke.
Exactly. A key piece of exercise gear, the AR, the resistive exercise device, it malfunctioned.
And he really emphasizes how crucial that is up there. It's not just, like, optional fitness.
No, absolutely not.
Me.
He says it's almost up there with air and food. It's vital for preventing muscle loss, bone density issues in microgravity.
So spending half of Christmas Eve fixing this thing.
Yeah, and because of that, missing his own workout.
Yeah.
That would definitely add to the strain. It's disrupting a critical routine.
Losing that sense of control over your own body, maybe.
Precisely. Then comes this phone call with Amiko, his partner, back on Earth. He gets this feeling something's not quite right.
And the setting for this call is just as, wow, she's in a grocery store checkout line.
Yeah, hardly the place for a deep emotional conversation.
Nah.
But it reveals this real strain, this disconnect they're feeling.
What did you find most striking about what she was going through?
Just the sheer weight of it all. Everything she was juggling back home.
Right, looking after his father, her own sons, the house.
And dealing with major stress at her job, too. Feeling like her efforts, especially with his social media stuff, which was successful, were being overlooked, even restricted.
So she's feeling burdened, maybe kind of alone in it all.
Absolutely. And then she drops this really vulnerable thing about feeling disconnected.
Saying they'll need to reconnect when he gets back. That's heavy.
Yeah, and admitting she's forgetting what he feels like, smells like, craving real human touch.
Oh, man. And then the call just cuts out mid-sentence.
Brutal. Even though he says he was confident in the relationship, that moment must have hit hard. The stark reality of it.
He's literally orbiting the planet, totally unable to give her a simple hug.
Exactly. That feeling of helplessness, his imagination running wild with worry, knowing he can't meet that fundamental need for closeness. It's powerful how he describes it.
But despite that really tough conversation, he then goes to the Russian segment for a Christmas Eve dinner.
Right, trying to salvage some sense of occasion.
The menu sounds, well, functional. Cold turkey cuts, salami, caviar, onions, apples.
Not exactly your traditional Christmas dinner now. Very practical.
But they do make toasts, acknowledging where they are, thinking of family, their crewmates.
And they listen to Christmas music, the new Coldplay album he mentions. It's this attempt, isn't it, to create some normalcy, some ritual.
Even in this completely abnormal place, it shows that human need to mark time, to connect somehow.
Definitely. The toasts acknowledge their unique situation, their ties back home. The music brings familiarity, maybe a shared feeling.
Then there's a video call with his daughters. And he picks up on something subtle there, too.
Yeah, he notes they seem happy, but also maybe a bit awkward, uncomfortable.
And the apartment didn't look very festive. Another layer of that distance, this sort of muted holiday feel for everyone involved.
It really shows the limits of technology, doesn't it? Video calls are amazing, but they don't fully replace being there. You miss the atmosphere, the unspoken things.
It underscores that even with connection, it's just
Yeah.
Different, not the same as being physically present for those moments.
True.
And then he has another call with Amiko. This one's really insightful.
The one where she says something about him making space look easy.
Exactly. She tells him that him making it look easy actually makes her feel like he misses her less, needs her less.
Wow. That gets deep into the complexities of these long-distance, high-stakes relationships.
Yeah, his coping mechanism, appearing strong, capable unintentionally, makes her feel more alone, less needed.
And it highlights that difference in what they're missing. She's missing him, specifically. He's missing everything about Earth. A huge disparity.
Okay, moving to Christmas morning itself. He describes it as a real contrast to Christmas's past.
Quiet. Very different from memories of childhood or his daughters being young.
Right. And the anticipation isn't about presents, it's about public affairs events.
Yeah, scheduled calls or media things where he's expected to give the official upbeat message about holidays in space.
Oh, while privately, he's just really missing his family. That public persona versus private feeling thing is stark here.
Absolutely. Projecting the adventure astronaut image while dealing with very real, very human longing and separation.
And then the physical side of the mission really bites back.
The injury. He starts ramping up his exercise, right? Getting ready for gravity again.
Yeah, pushing the resistance training and tears his hamstring doing squats.
Ouch. And the worry isn't just the pain. It's about impacting his return. Being able to walk properly back on Earth.
That must have been scary. And it leads him to talk about the medical kit on the ISS, which sounds surprisingly complete.
It's pretty amazing, the level of preparedness. A secured bag with everything.
Basic painkillers, antibiotics, but also antipsychotics, controlled substances.
Yep, even things with DEA warnings. And he mentions an early pregnancy test and even a body bag.
Whoa. Okay, that's sobering.
It really underscores the risks, doesn't it? NASA has to plan for almost any medical scenario in that extreme environment.
Definitely a reminder it's not just a fun trip. But then there's a really nice moment. A personal gesture.
The photo for Amiko.
Yeah, he sends her a private photo of an orbital sunrise, calls it a virtual hug.
And she reacts really positively. It's small, but it bridges that huge gap for a moment.
Shows how important those little personal connections are. Finding ways to share something beautiful.
That sunrise, yeah, a shared moment becomes a symbol of their connection, despite the miles.
Okay, then there's this interesting bit about medication. He's prescribed Ativan, a muscle relaxant, for the hamstring.
Right, and he notices an unexpected side effect.
Yeah, he finds he's suddenly not annoyed by little things, like his crewmate Tim Cropra repeating phrases. Normally that might bug him, but not now.
Huh. Interesting. Even other minor glitches, like satellite signal loss or a barbecue sauce mishap, don't get to him.
So Amiko suggests maybe it's treating underlying stress he didn't realize he had.
And the flight surgeon apparently mentions Ativan is sometimes used for mood and anxiety, too.
Which makes him think about his own hidden stress levels and maybe even the effect of the high CO2 on the station.
That's a fascinating connection. The confined space, the CO2 buildup. Studies do show it can affect mood, irritability. It could definitely worsen underlying stress.
It's a moment of real self-awareness for him, realizing he might be more stressed than he thought and appreciating the drug's unintended positive effect.
A good reminder that stress can show up in weird ways, especially under such unique physiological pressures.
And then, looking for maybe a different kind of perspective on being isolated, he reads about Shackleton.
The Antarctic explorer. On Christmas Day, 1914, during their expedition.
Yeah, and he finds something resonant there. Shackleton's crew finding contentment in self-reliance, even in extreme hardship.
It provides a contrast, doesn't it? Another form of extreme isolation, another way of coping. Finding inner peace, purpose, even when things are incredibly tough.
Whether it's Antarctica or space, shows that human adaptability, that mental strength.
Absolutely, our capacity for fortitude.
Okay, finally, New Year's Eve arrives. This sounds like a bigger celebration on the station.
Yeah, maybe because it's more universal than Christmas across the multinational crew.
They gather in the Russian segment, share toasts through the evening.
A sense of camaraderie, marking the passage of time together.
And they even try to spot fireworks down on Earth, which didn't work out this year, apparently.
Still, the act of trying, looking down together, connects them back to Earth, even if they can't see the specifics. It highlights that shared human experience.
There's a clear feeling of gratitude, though, for being there, having this unique experience again, and also looking forward to coming home in 2016.
Definitely. That anticipation of return is growing. Plus, making those early morning calls to family and friends back home as the new year hits different time zones.
So wrapping up this deep dive, what really stands out is that contrast, isn't it?
Yeah. The absolutely extraordinary setting space against these very normal, very human feelings and challenges, especially around the holidays.
The difficulties of keeping relationships strong across that huge distance, the body reacting to space, to stress, in sometimes surprising ways.
And finding perspective in unexpected places. Like reading about Shackleton's struggles, it adds another layer.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about all the different ways people cope with separation, with stress, whether you're continents apart or, even just in the same house sometimes.
Absolutely. How do these extreme situations change how we think about connection, about resilience, and maybe that difference between how we present ourselves to the world and what's really going on inside?
Yeah, that balance between the public image and the private reality, definitely something to